So here's Caitlin Clark clearly getting nudged by D. John A. Carrington as she tries to attack inside. But instead of acknowledging the foul, this girl made fun of Caitlin by mocking her, suggesting that she was flopping.
WNBA forcing 10 turnovers. Right there you see DJ Carrington.
Now, although Caitlin seems to be pretty chill and unaffected by it, you can see in her eyes that she is pissed with Carrington's little acting show. And so, on their next encounter, Caitlin wasted no time ending her right from the start as she hit her with this step-back three.
Left shoulder. Austin had her 11th double-double of the season, and Clark hits a three.
I mean, that step back was so nasty that one of Carrington's eyelashes got knocked off in the process. And when Carrington shushed her after getting a bucket, Caitlin just quickly destroyed her by bullying her inside.
What does Clark have up her sleeve this time? Oh, she gets it to go. Maybe could have got a foul there.
See, this is just a taste of what happens if you mess with Caitlin Clark. And here are 4 more times where she sought revenge on her biggest haters and humbled them afterward. Anyway, on top of the list, we got her longtime rival, Angel Reese. So, the first blood happened during the latter part of the 2023 NCAA championship game when Reese was caught rubbing it off Caitlin's face as she taunted her multiple times before the final buzzer went off.
Knows a ring is coming.
Now, although Caitlin is not known to retaliate to petty stuff like this, everyone knows that she just lets her game do the talking, and on their very first ever matchup in the WNBA, that's exactly what Caitlin did, as she led her team to defeat the Chicago Sky.
Fast break points. What it has done and how they are living out their dreams today.
And right here.
Anyway, 2 days after that statement win, the reporters asked her why a lot of people tuned in to watch the Fever Sky game, and even though we already know the obvious answer to that, Reese had another answer in mind to add more fuel to the fire.
Down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Well, I don't know if Caitlin heard the interview or not, because in their next matchup, she brought vengeance on her back pocket as she cooked the Sky early on.
Gets freed up from up top.
And even if Angel's pals tried their best to get under her skin by getting chippy with her, it didn't stop CC from destroying them whenever she got the opportunity.
Trying to find some space, goes reverse.
With Caitlin rolling hot, nobody from the Sky could stop her. And so, by the third quarter, Reese tried to take her out with this dirty play.
Hammer. 3 Sky players coming over. Leave to Angel Reese. Yep, across the head.
I mean, Reese almost took Caitlin's head off with that foul, which was upgraded to a flagrant 1. Now, instead of jumping on Reese for what she's done, CC just walked away and calmly sunk her free throws. But see, that doesn't mean that Caitlin let Reese off the hook that easily, because after that incident, she just went full God mode on them in the final quarter. When the game was over, Caitlin flirted with a triple-double of 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists to secure their second straight win against Reese in the Sky. Anyway, after all the things that she did and said against Caitlin, Reese still insists that there's no beef between her and CC, nor is she bitter or jealous of her, which we all know sounds quite ridiculous.
At the end of the day, it's a game that we do both love, but there is no hate. No hate. We're going to play on the same team one day, I'm sure. Like, we're going to definitely play on the same team one day, so.
Now, from exposing Angel Reese, let's move on and talk about another fierce hater of Caitlin Clark, and that's none other than Cheryl Reeve. I mean, it all started when Reeve was asked in a press conference about her thoughts on Caitlin being the projected #1 overall pick in the most recent draft. And without batting an eyelash, here's her stone-cold response.
You're going to talk about, you're going to ask me privately, are we going to tank for Caitlin Clark and like that? Caitlin Clark might make you want to lose every game, but not here, not in Minnesota.
Caitlin eventually got drafted number 1 overall by the Fever, and as expected, that was pretty much the headline ahead of the start of the season. But see, Reeve tried to steal the spotlight away from Caitlin by posting this seemingly harmless promotional of WNBA games, except that in the end, she would take a subtle shot at Caitlin with a hashtag that says, "The W is more than one player." I mean, that was just the beginning of Reeves hating on Caitlin, because when she was asked about her thoughts on Caitlin and the Fever visiting Minnesota for the first time this season, here's her very warm and welcoming response.
The coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side. I mean, how about one?
Not even one.
And on top of that, Reeve doubled down the hate for Caitlin as she wore a Black Girls Rock shirt during the game. Anyway, while Reeve was doing all these provocations, Caitlin remained silent and once again just let her game do the talking.
Caitlin, hit it!
And even though the Lynx has locked her up pretty well in the first 3 quarters, CC just saved the best for last as she became unhinged in the 4th en route to a huge victory while claiming her sweet revenge.
One-woman show. Clark.
Now after CC showed her how it's done on their home turf, Reeve seemed to dial down the hate and changed her tune about Caitlin as she finally gave her much-deserved flowers and recognition during the post-game.
Everybody knows that the reason why our teams around the league are having sellouts are because Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are coming to town. So obviously future Hall of Famer, and has had a great impact on the game already.
Anyway, before we wrap things up, let's talk about how Caitlin humbled her biggest hater of all time, which is Cheryl Swoopes. I mean, Swoopes was riding on the hate train since day 1 as she threw a bunch of lies just to downplay her accomplishments back when she was still playing at Iowa.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player said it. Because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year.
What year is this for her?
So this is her, she's a senior, but I think her COVID year was last year. Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Then right before the season started, Swoopes commented with a bunch of laughing emojis when Carrington said that Caitlin might lead in assists this year. Well, fast forward to today, Caitlin really did just that, as she now holds the record for having the most assists in a single season. And see, despite all the WNBA records that she has broken as a rookie and all the season awards that she has received so far, Swoopes never talked about her at all, and when the harsh reality just slapped her in the face, she just sat in silence, cause
Smart foul.
Got to go to the players of the week. Both of them had outstanding weeks, and they're the next 2 opponents to the Wings. Caitlin Clark will be here on Sunday for the week, averaged 25, and Avisa Collier averaged over 25. And of course, the Lynx here Friday at 6:30 on Ion. And then the Fever come here at 3 o'clock before